I'm glad you asked this. How do you feel about people whose parents are African, from Africa, but were raised in America their whole life? They're not Black American. They're still not in my ethnic group. Their lineage is not from the United States of America. Their lineage is from Africa. Like, for real. Like, both of their parents are African immigrants, but they were born here. They're still African as fuck. Because inside that house, they're going to be raised as Africans. They're not going to be raised like me. They're not going to be raised to be Black Americans. They're going to be raised in that African household with African culture, African.
Your culture identity, your cultural, and you're in South Africa. You speak Kiswahili.
I don't speak Swahili in South Africa. Read a book.
Yes, y'all do.
Read a book. We don't speak Swahili. Swahili is an East African.
Yes,
no, we don't.
No, but y'all do speak Swahili.
Nobody speaks Swahili in South Africa. Read a book.
Yes, you do.
No, we don't. You speak English and Ebonics. That's about it. We don't speak Swahili.
You speak Swahili and clicks and pops.
Yes, we speak Xhosa. Yes, we speak Zulu, but we do not speak Swahili. Neither do we speak Ebonics.
Sir, yes, sir. Over there, you speak clicks and pops.
You speak English. That's it. You only speak.
Sir.
That's your language.
Sir, clicks and pops. That's not a flex. Okay.
It is a flex. Most South Africans are multilingual. You only speak.
And shout out to my South African brothers and sisters. I love you, but the clicks and pops is not a flex.
Nobody loves you though. Fuck off.
No, I'm not going to fuck off Baba Tunde. You fuck off with that bush.
Come here, guys. Come here. Should we talk? I'm curious. Like, should we? Or should we just be like, it's one of those ignorant Black Americans? Should we just leave it at that? Because what the hell is clicks and pops? You actually wish you speak the clicks and the pop, boo. You would never compare to my level. That's the only thing you can speak. That's the only thing you'd ever know. English. A mimicked version of English even. What you speak is not even your own. But someone would say, I speak Swahili in South Africa, and tells me that that's the language that I speak in my own country. That's the problem with some African Americans in general. They have this entitlement. They have this thing of, I know better. How do you know better than me? And it's not just him. Like, I remember I was dating an African American. He had the same entitlement mentality, thinking that he knows better than me. Me, who's been here. Until he came here. Because he thought he was some sort of celebrity. But anywho, that's not about him. It's about that guy and the certain thinking capacity of superiority that comes with them, that they're not even aware of. They are quick to tell South Africans that they are xenophobic, but they own be doing things of this.
I'm glad you asked this. How do you feel about people whose parents are African, from Africa, but were raised in America their whole life? They're not Black American. They're still not in my ethnic group. Their lineage is not from the United States of America. Their lineage is from Africa. Like, for real. Like, both of their parents are African immigrants, but they were born here. They're still African as fuck. Because inside that house, they're going to be raised as Africans. They're not going to be raised like me. They're not going to be raised to be Black Americans. They're going to be raised in that African household with African culture, African everything. They might be around Black Americans all the time. All their friends might be Black American, go to school with Black Americans, hang out with Black Americans, party with Black Americans. They might indulge in Black American culture because they look like the rest of us. But when they step back in that fucking house, a lot of Africans leave the Black American at the door because their African parents from Africa don't play that shit. And that's literally a fact. Africans literally tell us about how their African parents don't like Black Americans. Shit, even my Haitian friend, we were all sitting down talking, and he told us about how when he was kids, his Haitian parents didn't want him playing with the Black American kids in the neighborhood. So, like, yeah, you can be born in America all you want, but if your parents are immigrants, Whether it's African or West Indian, you're going to be raised with their beliefs and their values. You're going to be raised with that culture from that ethnic group. You know what's actually funny? I have a best friend that's West African. And me and her got into a big ass fight because she let me know a couple years ago how she felt about Black Americans. Even though she went to school with us since she was in preschool, elementary school, middle school, high school, went to school with all of us. Talked about how she felt like Black Americans were lazy, lost, didn't have any culture, undisciplined, and so on and so forth. Talking about I'd have sex with a Black American, but I wouldn't marry a Black American. No, I'd marry an African or a West Indian, like a Jamaican or a Haitian, not a Black American man. And me and her got into it. We really got into it. Because in my mind, it's like, bruh, you grew up right beside me, shoulder to shoulder. Kiki in my face for years. We're all just one, we're all black, right? We're all black, right? But whole time, this is how you feel about me? This is how you feel about Black Americans? And you're in the midst of us this whole time? I almost forgot that both of her parents are straight out of West Africa. So, although she spent years and years amongst us Black Americans outside the house, she grew up in an African household that just so happened to be in America because her parents immigrated here. So how do I feel about African children born to Africans that immigrated here, born in America? You know what I'm saying? Y'all born in... I feel the same exact way. You're not black. They're not black. They're not. They're not. Because they can pick up blackness and then put it down when they go back in the house. They can pick up blackness and drop it when they're around their aunties and uncles. They can pick up blackness and then drop it when they go back home to visit their family in West Africa. They can be Black American like us, but they can drop it just as quick. And I've seen that firsthand, up close. And it was kind of a shocking feeling to hear that. Like, damn. Like, at one point, before I got to how I am right now, I thought the same thing. All of us are black. We all from America. We all here. We all, whole time, we all in the mix with West Indians and Africans. We all mixed up together, elbow to elbow, kiki and having a good ass time. Whole time, this is what they think, or this is what some of them think about Black Americans because of their immigrant parents, because how their immigrant parents feel about Black Americans and taught them how to feel about Black Americans. Yeah. Yeah. I kind of started yapping. We were on a yap session, but how do I feel about, like I said, Africans who were born here and their parents were immigrants? I feel the same exact way. They're not in my ethnic group. They're not Black Americans. They have their own ethnic group. Whatever their parents' ethnic group is, from whatever country they immigrated from, that's their ethnic group. But no, they are not Black. They're not Black American. They are not in my ethnic group.
Respectfully, I feel like African American or Black Americans need to have a discussion about what race, ethnicity, lineages are, because he keeps on mixing things without fully understanding what those things are, and also claiming things that he refers to himself and say that we are not. It's one thing to acknowledge. I agree with him on certain things. I mean, he cannot be wrong on all sectors. I mean, I agree with him on certain things. Like when he says that I don't have a lineage of my own people in the Americas. I don't have them. At least the ones that maybe I don't know. Maybe I do have them. I don't know. But the ones like from my track record and my own family, from my own awareness, I don't know any of my relatives having a lineage that is extending to the Americas. I don't know. He's right about that. I will have my lineage, my culture, my tradition, my history with me when I come to the Americas. And when I step in the house, ngizokhuluma, I will speak my language. I will talk to my people in my language because I was not taken by force from my home. I came with my own people. I came on my own according. I came there as an economic refugee, basically, if I go to the Americas. So on that aspect, he's right. But on the topic of race, ethnicity, and lineages,
Yeah. Yo, you know another problem I have? I have a problem with this guy, which I actually have respect for his work. You guys know him, the king of the FBA, Tariq Nasheed. You know, I feel like Tariq Nasheed is in a special position where he can bridge gaps between Black Americans and Africans, right? But instead, I feel like he just chooses to use his platform to cause a division. Anytime he posts something, it's always, oh, look at what these Africans are doing. Oh, they think they're better than us. Or they come over here. If you guys love your country so much, why don't you stay there and fix it? Like, he has to realize that we as Africans and Black Americans, right, we have a lot more things in common than apart. We like a lot of the same things. We marry each other. We appreciate each other's culture. Of course, there's always going to be stereotypes. Oh, you African booty scratcher. Oh, akata, this and that. Like, that's normal. That happens in all cultures, okay? It happens in all cultures. White people, Indians, the Arabs, they do that, okay? So that's a minor thing. That's, there's a bigger picture here. And I feel like Homeboy should be using his platform to try to bridge gaps, hold important conversations with notable people from both sides, right? Like, engage in some positive Pan-Africanist conversations with both sides of the continent. Because we need to start getting together to start putting our resources together, right? In order to compete. Right now, all we do is spend money. We don't make money. We just spend money, and we're making other people rich. In a Gucci shirt, Gucci's not even that fly. Like, honestly, Gucci is not fly. Only once in a while you see something that's unique. Everybody's wearing the same Gucci t-shirt, a nice t-shirt that says Gucci. You can get a lot of streetwear for that and still look dope as hell, you know? So, Tariq Nasheed, man, I know you have your foundational Black American thing going on, and you want to separate yourself from all other blacks, and you feel like you need reparations. Fuck reparations. That shit is not coming, okay? Your great-grandkids are still going to be fighting for reparations if that's what you want. What you need to start doing is getting your money right. We all need to get our money right and start investing in all the resources in Africa. Start investing in oil money, investing in all the limestone, all the natural the natural stones and diamonds and everything that Africa has. Is whites are taking over now. The Chinese are coming over. What are we doing as black people? We're over here talking about we don't like them. They think they're better than us. We think we're better than them. Bullshit.
I feel like on the fundamental level, you guys can correct me in the comment section, right? That this thing is all about pain. It's pain. It's knowing that you don't have a root. You don't have what we have. A lot of things that are of value to you have been taken away from you. So a lot of Black Americans hold on to their lineages as their identity. That is very a painful past, right? Apart from that, in most cases, some of them created culture, tradition, and so forth. However, they are in alignment with Western people. The religion is not ours. The English is not ours, you see. But they also created a lot of things that impacted the world in so many ways. And it wouldn't be surprising to me because they are Africans, right? Or they're black, for those that prefer to be called black, you see. But it brings again the conversation of what is important to you. What is really of important to you? The foundational American, Black American logo that you guys are creating over there and creating the separation and going to be further harmed by it, by the way, because, the other races don't stand with you like that. So internationally, it's going to be us pushing you again, and again, okay? The Spanish community in the Americas hold on to their ties to America, even though some of them have lost it, but they still manage to. The Italians, the same thing. They've lost it. Doesn't matter if they have a track record or whatever, they've lost it. Okay? It just shows you that you can reconnect if you want to. If you've been there generation on generation, eventually the bloodline gets mixed up. The culture gets mixed up. It's no longer the same. The Italians also have the same thing, from Italy with the Italian American, that they are doing their own thing. They are weird. It's not a thing of Africa. Okay? It's a more of the human perspective. It's a human thing. Now you guys say things of like lineages, they're not part of my lineage, and part of my ethnicity, not part of my race. No matter where I go, I'll always be black. I am black even when I sign papers. I am black. I am also African when I sign papers. Okay. Maybe it's because America in general mixes things, because what is your ethnicity? Is it black and African? Because my ethnicity is not black and African. My ethnicity would be Sepedi and Zulu descendant. That's my ethnicity. Your ethnicity would be that? I'm thinking. Let me know in the comment section. Please educate me. I want to understand the conversation. People, I wanted to balance things out here. You'd see in a moment what I'm talking about.
Do y'all understand how disrespectful it is for first generation Africans to come over here and disrespect Black Americans on the land that we fought for people that look like us to succeed and prevail? For y'all to come over here and be anti-Black American and try to shit on us and disassociate yourselves with us and just separate yourselves as if we're scum, when our people fought for us, not just African Americans, but Africans, first generation Africans that come over here to be able to have a normal life and succeed in this country. And for y'all to spit in our face, that's crazy. I don't think y'all understand how wild that is. To say things like, at least I know my ancestors and all of that, and how to trace my lineage back to Africa. And don't act like they don't say that, because there are people that have said that and will throw it in your face in an argument or something. But I'm having a conversation about this right now, and it's just kind of whoa. To think that actually happens. You wouldn't be able to be over here if it wasn't for my ancestors and my people in this country. Shit, if it wasn't for us today and what we do today, what some of our leaders do today, y'all wouldn't be able to be over here. So to come over here and shit on the very people that made it okay for you to be over here is fucking insane. It should be unity at the end of the day. It should just be unity. It should what are we going against each other and fighting for? It should be unity.
Discussion needs to be on both sides. It shouldn't be Africa, they are the problem, they are doing this, they're the ones saying we don't have land. It shouldn't be that, because you guys are doing also just as much. Okay, it should be on both sides. We should hold each other accountable and come to an agreement on how we solve things. Again, another thing that I'm thinking also, it's not that we don't like you guys. Like I said, I've been with an African American. There are things I've seen firsthand that he's done to me. And knowing that I'm a South African woman and I've lived here in my country, you want to tell me about my country and the things that I have experienced. You can't, because everything is a sensitive ground, especially when it comes to him, right? I should trade with caution, but I can't joke around with certain things. I feel also that you guys, we don't have the type of anger you guys have. We don't have it, okay? Africans they just silence their pain. You guys live your pain. You live it. We don't. It's worse. I live my pain because I reconnected with my pain. I came with my pain, and it's something that's a process. It's a journey. You travel with it. It's not something that you just experience. Otherwise, they will tell you to your face that it's not that deep. Okay, it's not that deep, and you'll be hurt. You will be hurt. So we really need to come together. It's an important conversation for us Africans to have, but mostly it's the level of ignorance that is the problem, and it will continue to be the problem with Black American. And it's sometimes one of the reasons why Africans are isolating themselves in you. Like I said again, you are attached to your pain. As Africans, we should be. For me to even reconnect with my pain, I had to read about it again because they have done a good job in brainwashing us in Africa. Our people don't even talk about their pain, what they lived through. It's much better for them to forget what they've experienced than to talk about what they've been through. There's a lot of unsolved issues, starting with apartheid. Number one, people just chose to just bury it. No one wanted to talk about it again. Nobody wanted to bring up the crimes that happened and hold people accountable. None of that. Some of our parents died with what they experienced. So we start afresh, not knowing what happened to us. So there's a lot of brainwashing, and you guys are connected to your pain. Sure, some of you guys were also brainwashed to forget us Africans, but you are not brainwashed to forget your history. You talk about it, you protest about it, you do a lot of things. You want to hold these people accountable, but we don't have that. In order for you to have that, you need to reconnect, okay? That's why I'm saying a lot of ignorance comes with Black Americans. They want us to understand them without them having to understand us. They live in this thing of their pain, constant pain. I noticed with my ex as well. He came here with a desire to help Africans to build, but he does not understand the minds of Africans. He thinks he understood. But he later come to realize that actually it's a different market. You have this entitlement thing that we should know. We don't know, okay? We don't know. You also don't want to be told. There are things that Africans would say to you the same way you would say to an African that are painful. And I know that this thing of lineages is painful. To not know where you come from is painful, okay? It's very hard. It's very, very, very hurtful to just, be. But again, xenophobia happens to all of us. It does happen to all of us. So we need to find a common ground.
I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible. Because when African people get online and they start to share their experiences, it gets invalidated and people become very dismissive. Xenophobia is not exclusively African. Xenophobia is not exclusively Black and or African American. Xenophobia happens at the same rate in both communities. It can never be one-sided when you have groups like FBAs and ADOS who have literal slurs for African people. But y'all never talk about that. And for the African people who keep telling Black Americans and African Americans that we are taught in our households to hate them, start bringing your parents on the camera. Let your parents speak for themselves. And instead of saying all African people, start saying me, myself, and I, my parents, my household. Don't sit there and speak for all of Africa. Y'all are embarrassing.
I didn't know being rootless without a respectable culture was a flex. So you believe Black Americans are rootless and Black Americans are without a respectable culture. Throughout this whole mess, a lot of Africans are calling me hateful and calling me xenophobic. Whole time my comments are full of comments like this from Africans, while I have yet to say anything hateful or xenophobic back to the Africans saying shit like this. All you guys are doing is reinforcing my belief that Black American culture and Black Americans altogether are just not regarded and respected when it comes to the diaspora. Because if you knew anything, our culture has roots, deep roots in the United States of America. And our culture is very respectable and one of the richest in the world, one of the most influential in the world. And it's something to be proud about. And it is something that we all are very proud about as Black Americans. Thank you.
Comes again with this thing of having to stand by what you said, own up to what you have said, and don't expect everyone to agree with what you said and you being correct because you are saying it. I mean, these African people that you call out have experiences with African Americans as well. It's not just you, it's all of us, okay? So yes, I've acknowledged African Americans being their culture, being influential. But the root is it something that you guys are mad about? The root of not knowing your people, not knowing your language, not knowing your tradition. Because your tradition, like I said, they are closely tied to Westerners than they are tied to us. Because as much as you say that religion, they say religion is ours, the Christianity, that Bible thingy, it's not ours. I'm sorry, it's not ours. It's not something I would ascribe to, I would want in my home personally.
So somebody asked me how I feel about African immigrants that were born here in the United States, on whether I feel like they're in my ethnic group or not. And I said, yet again, they're not in my ethnic group. And I explained why. So that makes me another Black American with, damn, this sun my skin kind of eating a little bit. But that makes me another Black American with main character syndrome, and it makes me want to be white.